sending this out to everybody to let them know that I would be doing another live and everything. But just figure I'd shoot the breeze with you all real quick. A couple of updates. Boas are doing fine right now. Icaros ate today after being off feed for roughly about 3 or 4 months. I started pairing him and Athena late last year, around I think October, November. Right off the bat, I'd say Icaros went off feed and started focusing on doing what all male boas want to do when it's breeding season, and that's breed. Athena kept eating for a little bit, but I think it was sometime by mid-December she finally went off feed. But through many futile attempts in between pairing them and then separating, and I tried to get Icaros to eat, but just wouldn't want to budge. He was just thinking about getting as much Athena time as he could. But today he broke the fast, so to speak. I guess part of his biology just kind of ticked off and said, you know what? If I'm not getting any right now, I might as well eat. That's one of the biggest problems with trying to breed boas, is that not only do you have to worry about the females making it all the way to term and giving live birth and not dying from the stress that causes, but the male boas technically have this very bad thing about focusing on breeding and breeding and breeding to the point where they just breed themselves to death and they just fail to eat. They just burn off all their reserves. Now, I'm glad that I wasn't extremely aggressive, to say it all, about breeding the boas. I only paired just Athena and Icaros, and I didn't do any switch offs with Musashi, who is still eating. I mean, he's of age and of size to be bred as a sire, but I was just thinking it was like trying to manage the amount of stressors that I'd have to deal with, because this is the thing about breeding season that for most professionals and even amateurs end up finding out early on, is that when you start breeding, whether it's in line with the season, which is usually for here in the United States, around October timeframe and going into for the winter seasons, your snakes will go off feed. Females will go off feed, especially when they start building up their follicles and they end up having an ovulation, and then they just stop because the eggs are just building, and then you got that full. You've got that. What is it, like 30 something days or so or more between the time of the ovulation, pre-lay shed, to the time that they lay the eggs. Yeah, but male ball pythons can definitely go off feed for long periods of time. The longest I've ever had to deal with a ball python male being off feed was almost 6 months, and it was the most aggravating situation, just trying to get him to get that one to eat. I mean, I cleaned out substrate, I bathed him, I even separated him from the female by even some considerable distance, like having him and all the other male ball pythons separated from the females, just so the scent wouldn't get them stuck on breeding and everything, and maybe get them back on feed. But when I actually got them feeding, needless to say, I was relieved. I was glad to get the weight off my chest because of all the stress that it caused from trying to feed pre-killed, frozen thawed, or even live, and just constantly going through wasting rats, so to speak, especially the pre-killed or the frozen thawed ones. I don't like having to refreeze a frozen thawed rat at all, because it just becomes gross over time. especially having to have to fall them out again. Most of the times I end up having to throw those away because I don't want to feed something that's maybe, you know, kind of gross on the inside from thawing. But yeah, I was really worried about dealing with the boas because this was the first in a major venture going ahead after being successful with breeding bull pythons within the first couple of years of raising them up to age and weight. That way, they could actually do it, and I was successful. So, in my hubris, I decided to try with boas this year. After having the boas in my possession for about let's say about maybe about say about maybe about 2.5 years, 3 years. I have had them now. Yeah, man. Even though I've got the one female that's of size, that was Athena, and didn't have anybody else to try that project with. I mean, I wanted to prove her out for being het for Super Stripe because I got her from Conley Herps, but just couldn't find anybody that was working with or had a sire that was either het for it or was a visual for it, and so I had to use what I had. And needless to say, I was successful at getting a whole bunch of locks. I'm still hoping out that come March or maybe April that Athena will have a litter. I'm still keeping an eye on her body shape and her body tone, and she's still getting pretty big. She doesn't look like she's losing a lot of weight or anything. She's just maintaining that overall thickness. I'm starting to see a little bit of separations between the skin and her scales a little bit, so that's further proof that she's growing because the snakes inside of her are growing bigger. If she is pregnant, I mean, this is why I pray to the snake gods for one of those portable sonogram machines. That way, I can just like see if the little follicles or see the shape of a little baby snake around her yolk sac. But yeah, got got the whole thing checked off with the boas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to dial me.
Well, in mid live, I hate those. I hate those 800 numbers. Pests. But oh yeah, next topic. Uh, there's a lot of talk about what is going to be happening to the ball python market. Even though even though I try to keep my ears close to at least what some of the guys online are saying, like Ben Cincy Snakes, Olympus Reptiles, a couple other guys that are on YouTube that sell their own. Oh, hi Maverick, how's it going? I'm doing good right now. I'm just getting through the usual snake issue stuff, getting snakes back on feed while trying to have a manageable freaking, uh, trying to have at least a successful breeding season this year. I mean, last year was good. Had a few had a few things go wrong with thermostat going haywire, and ended up losing a couple snakes to that, but managed to recover back from it. Where am I based from? I'm in Yorktown, Virginia. Yeah. Uh, Here in the Hampton Roads area, I'm like one of a few people that are like actual breeders for ball pythons and everything. But there's a couple more that are just like scattered around. A couple people I know or I've learned about is like Conley Herps, uh, Wheeze and the Snakes. They're based out of Hayes over next to Gloucester and everything, across the Coleman Bridge. Uh, uh, Stupid notifications. I hate that stuff. But back to the subject of the ball python market. A lot of people are talking like how things are coming down in prices and how the market is being affected by it being oversaturated and everything. There's even been talk about certain morphs coming into decline, not due to genetics or anything, or like issues or anything like that. Uh, uh, you know how everybody used to say that pastel is just like a basic morph and everything. It was like, uh, it's not always the case. Pastel may be a basic morph, but is like the goat, the founding father, or founding father morph for every one of these multi-gene morphs out there that everybody's chasing. And mind you, I say chasing because they sure as hell can't afford to get one. Or at least when they started coming out with them. I mean, how many freaking snake morphs out there that are created by multiple morphologies combined over the years are made due to pastel and just pastel alone? There's talk about how even clowns are coming down in decline as far as like figures. Like, really? Clowns? I was lucky enough to find a clown for about $150, $175. And that's how I got Heyoka. It was a simple markdown mail. Nothing wrong with them, no issues. Just pet shop where I got them from was just trying to move product. And by move product, they had to reduce prices. Hell, I don't see why people would think clown is going away or falling out of favor, considering how much that morphology is in line with creating other multi-gene combo snakes, especially with the multiple hets thrown in that you can mix clown with to get so many different visual variances. I mean, damn, next thing you know, somebody's going to say Pied will fall out of favor. And I don't think Pied will ever fall out of favor, considering how many different patterns you can get it with, just with Pied and Pied alone. I mean, hell, I passed on getting a Pied here recently simply because of economics, and I didn't want my wife to kill me over getting another steak. anybody can relate to that. I mean, let's. I don't want to name drop anything, but remember how Brian Barczak would introduce a snake to Lori, and she would be like, "No, no," and then he'd convince her like, "Yes, yes," and it's like, not my wife. When I got the boas, she was like, no bigger. Anything that will eat the cat. And I'm like, no. It's like, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Not needless to say, we got the boas, but nothing's ever happened to the cats because I don't ever have the snakes out when the cats are around. And I never allow the snakes to have ground time when the cats are around. So, yeah, there's that. Like I said, I even passed up on getting a piebald, just a regular plain old piebald. It was a male piebald with nothing extra, $275. I'll be honest with you. My proven breeder female albino, Manoa, she cost more than that. She cost me $300 when I got her as a baby. When I got her as a baby, there was no way I'd be able to afford a pie because it ended up costing more back then than what she was. As far as all my ball pythons are concerned, she is the most expensive and the most proven. Enough said. I've also been hearing that even though people do like ball pythons because they're easy to handle, people are wanting to gravitate to the next largest thing. And oddly enough, I'm hearing it's the blood pythons or the short-tailed pythons. Sorry, my nose is itching in here. Must be because of the smell of the pine substrate that the rats were on. But yeah. I've even heard of some people trying to even make hybrids. And by hybrids, I mean they're pairing another egg-laying snake to another egg-laying snake. There's one guy I know where I usually get some of my feeder rats and mice from, and other stuff. He's looking to pair his bloods with his ball pythons to make a hybrid right there. The only other hybrid I've ever seen or heard tell of between another ball python and another egg-laying snake may have been a reticulated or a burr. I do not know which, but I think that's kind of crazy if you're trying to get something like a ball python with hybrid vigor and just ends up being like this massive ball python that just got like some berm or retic genetics into it. I don't know how well that works, considering that you're talking like mixing two different species on the snake list between python and boa. Yeah, and only so many of the boids, like berms and retics, those ones are the only ones that lay eggs. While I believe it's the anacondas that are like boa constrictors. They give birth to live young. They're oviparous, or oviparous, or viviparous. I keep mixing up the two because there's the viviparous and all the stuff. I'll have to relook at the books again on that one. But yeah, but I don't know how people are going to deal with that, considering that uh, I don't. If people end up getting larger snakes because it's the new thing, all I'm saying is that there's going to be problems down the road. Because one, you're talking about a lot more costs for habitating those things. You're going to need large enclosures. Because from what I've seen, even though they are fat and girthy snakes, they do still tend to get very big. Maybe not as big as like a retic or a berm, but from what I do know, the short-tailed pythons and the blood pythons can get about as big as maybe a medium-sized boa constrictor, but that's as far as like my knowledge base for that goes. Uh, Next topic: how is everybody doing with their views? At this point, I am getting ready to pray to the old gods at my altar to get up the views and subscribers, because it feels right now it is like worse than a seasonal slump. By slump, I ended last year getting up to. I made the goal of going over 1,000 subscribers. Definitely got couple hundred videos going on. I'm almost getting close to 600 videos in combinations of shorts, videos, and the lives that I've started to do, which are now new to me. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the subscriptions and I appreciate the views, even the ones I'm getting so far. But it feels like the algorithm is damn near switched, and it's becoming really hard to predict or even make content. Because I'll be honest, I feel like I'm struggling. I feel like I'm going through the viewer fatigue because I made my bones, so to speak, by just doing feeding shorts, and that's what got me a lot of my views. But ever since some things happened in the snake community, it just kind of feels like every one of us is fighting for views. It's like, did we fall out of favor or something? I mean, there's all there's the green kids, but I don't think those kids are like bothering our community, so to speak. But it does feel like the overall YouTube vibe is that okay, new snake channel, 1 in a million. Let's see it. Let's give it its push, and then afterwards, just kind of drop it off for a little bit. Maybe the algorithm will return. I don't know, but it definitely feels like things have switched. I mean, I don't know how it is with everybody else. I mean, uh, all the other big snake channels have not seen much of a change, but a couple of channels like mine, Ben Cincy Snakes, he's putting in work, a lot of work, especially for a guy that is also an ex-army vet and working at an airport doing, I don't know what his job is, but I think it's something. I think he unloads cargo from planes and stuff like that. But he's still putting in work. He's still getting views, but we're kind of in the same boat because I watch his channel as I watch other guys' stuff that have snakes, and I kind of see the variances that they're not getting as many views or likes or comments and stuff like that. Even now, I get very little comments, even the negative ones. Hello, Renee Allen. How you doing? But yeah, it seems like it's a bit of a struggle now. I mean, I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple months, after the breeding season is over and everything, and maybe if I got a couple more tubs full of eggs in the incubator, that things will pick up as far as like new stuff to show everybody. But right now, it kind of feels like I'm sticking to my guns with feeding shorts and every now and then doing a live talking to all of y'all. Uh, Another thing is that I'm probably gonna figure a way to switch up the content from mostly feeding shorts and lives. I'm probably gonna try to do maybe some skits or something like that, something a little bit comical. I think I tried something like that with the one short where I was uh, demonstrating the point of view of what it is for a snake to look out from their tub to see their owner either come down, pick them up, socialize them with them, or even feed them. And I had to reach back through my archaic media lore and find an audio clip for one of those back in the day internet meme things from a Joe cartoon. Because when I was a kid and internet was starting to become a big thing, uh, there was this stuff called Joe cartoons, like these little 8-bit style animation choice things where there's this little foul mouth fly or gerbil, and it was kind of semi-offensive but funny dark humor. And I used one of the things from the stoner flies to get that thing going. It was like, hey, yo, 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 check it out. Look, man, it's God. Yo, man, God got serious red eye. And just imagine if that was the snake's personal thought upon seeing me opening the tub and coming to pick it up. I was like, whoa, man, it's God. Well, maybe in the snake's perspective, an owner or hobbyist breeder, and like myself, would appear to them as God because I'm the one that comes in there, reaches them, plucks them out of their thing, cleans their stuff for them, and gives them food and water. Like, oh God, oh God, thank you. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to think of some ideas. I might try to get my wife and kid more involved in some of this stuff because they're a part of this too. Uh, I mean, they're definitely a part when it comes to like having the snakes socialized and accustomed to being handled. I mean, my wife and kid are great at getting the baby snakes all well and socialized. That way, they're not skittish or anything. They're really good at that. My wife is a little bit afraid of the boas now because they're getting so much bigger and everything, and she's still a very petite woman. She's more worried. In fact, she's actually a little bit more worried about me given my certain health issues right now. especially dealing with my neck because I've got several cervical impingements in my neck. My C2 and C3 and my C4 to C6 vertebrae are heavily impinged to one side. So our biggest worry is this boa is getting wrapped around my neck, rafting, getting a little bit too tight and causing it to bend and maybe paralyzing me. But that's why I always try to be very careful and guide them around me a little bit, as opposed to just letting them just rest and wrap around. But I think the only snake that she really has any issue with is Musashi, and that's because of that one incident where, out of just one random moment, he decided, "Oh, I don't want to be hold," and they started to get all well. He was a small fry then, but yeah, he got loud. You know how boas can hiss and like, well, his was more like freaking Godzilla go, and he started getting all. I mean, he wasn't landing any bites or anything, but he was definitely striking out. At least he's mellowed out. He's no longer an a-hole. He's actually chilled out. I mean, I still handle him regularly and everything, if he ever lets me take him out of his enclosure. But my wife is still like, no, I'm good. I'm hoping she'll get back over the fear of at least him. I mean, she doesn't have any problem with the ball pythons simply because of size. And they're just squishy little scale puppies. But uh, I'm trying to hold out hopes for the future and everything because this slump is it's a little bit depressing, and having PTSD, depression is already a big issue right now, and I don't want to quit doing this because this gives me something to do between my doctor's appointments, my mental health appointments, uh, taking care of my wife and kid, making sure my daughter does her homeschooling, stuff like that, walking my dog, which is now becoming a problem for my knees. Uh, and I really want this stuff to take off. Right now, the hardest thing I'm having to deal with is trying to find buyers for the baby snakes. Uh, I am dead set on holding on to Miracle because of how small they are, even though they are catching up. Miracle's still got a long ways away to catch up as far as weight's concerned. But the 5 survivors out of the 7 of the initial first clutch we had from Manoa are already well ahead. I've got 3 females and 2 males. Uh, I want to at least have one of the males that has some of the better visual markings, and maybe, just maybe, 2 of the females that have also the same kind of unusual markings. Because I think one of the males and one of the females look like just regular normals, but the other 3 have the unusual patterns, bringers, alien heads, stuff like that, weird saddles that look like both gene influences of albino and hypo are taken into consideration. So I at least want to keep those ones in order to prove out that I can get sun gloves. And yeah, that's one other thing. My big projects right now is sun gloves and clowns. I want to make my own clowns. I've got a male for that, and I've got at least 2 females for that. And I want to prove out sun gloves because my big thing is right now nobody's working with sun gloves. Period. None. I mean, I don't even think there's any on Morph Market right now. Trust me, I looked. Type in Sunglow. Double het recessive for hypo and albino. None. I don't know why nobody would want to work that. It's a very stunning double recessive morph. I understand it's hard to get double recessives to make visuals and everything, but I want to at least try. I want to fill that niche before going on to any other things that might be difficult. Because right now, let's see, I've got a visual hypo, I've got a visual albino, I got a visual black example that's also hypo, and I've got a visual clown. So I've got at least 5 snakes that are sorry, my brain just kind of farted. But yeah, I've got the hypo, got the albino, got the clown, got the black example, got the hypo. So technically, I've got 4 visuals. But what I don't have is a lot of hets for anything else outside those visual recessives. Uh, my wife's snake, Psyche, that's a Mojave possible chocolate het orange ghost. She's the only thing that I have that's het for anything else, out of anything else. And I was already told previously that there were a couple people in Pennsylvania that are dealing with orange ghost, and I might have to hit them up to see if I can get something to work with that, because I've just got visuals of several different things, but nothing of the one thing except the one pair of jeans to go with it. Uh, I'm hoping maybe down the line I can end up making this some snakes that are triple or maybe even quad heads, but I gotta see where things go right here, right now. Uh, as soon as I get some buyers for the other snakes, because I'm hoping that one of the shops here local to me, a Pet World in Hampton off of West Mercury Boulevard, gotta get in contact with them, see if they've got any room, because they buy snakes from breeders and everything, and that might help make room here in the racks for any other future baby snakes that might come up this season. Because right now, I've only got one other VE6 rack with small tubs in it, and right now I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tubs available for any future babies for this season. Because right now, Miracle is in one small tub until they can move up to the next tub. And the other 5 are in the second stage tub of the VE6 as well. Everything else, the other VE6, is made up of the tubs for the subadults. Everybody else that is an adult is already in the CV70s off to the side here. But I gotta get a couple more of those. Oh man, I'm gonna end up having to get because the price for the 5-tiered CB Super 70 went up in price from like $399 to like $409 off for Reptile Basics. I'm gonna end up having to get some of the 3-tiered CB Super 70 tier racks, because those ones are holding at like $260 something. And that will just give me 6 more extra spaces to put in full grown adults. But that means I have to buy another set of VE100 thermostat controllers, and I might also have to get another VE6 rack and another thermostat to go with that one as well. Because now that I've got a couple more females in the line mix, it means it just increases the chance for more clutches, and that means more eggs, means more babies, and that means I need more space. And I'm trying to make do with the amount of space I have here now. I may have to move some of the photos, and may even have to move the little fescue tree that I put in here for decorative purposes somewhere else because I just need space for the more racks. I'm gonna make deal with the space that I have here. Yeah. Well, at least I'm happy for the small positives with having it grow eaten something today. Uh, Now I just have to clear my conscience and worries with the ball pythons right now because the only ones right now that are eating so far are the babies, and that gets boring seeing it for a while. Heyoka's eating. That'll get boring after a bit. Uh, every now and then I can get Manoa and Psyche to eat. I got Biju to eat a while ago, but he's in shed, and it's definitely been a bit since any of the boys like Phobos or Coco Pellier. So yeah, got gotta get them back on feed, and I may end up getting some of the snakes checked, at least confirm their sex. And the one that I'm thinking of confirming the most is Psyche, because last season I tried breeding her as well, paired her up with Phobos. Nothing. Got plenty of locks, but nothing took. No ovulation, no clear one at least, and no eggs. Nothing from her. Uh, I know she was of weight and age then. I mean, Manoa was of age and weight then, and she gave me some good eggs. I'm kind of wondering why Psyche didn't. So might need to get her checked as far as well to confirm her gender. Because if it turns out that she's not a female or a male, then I've been pairing a male snake with a male snake, and they haven't been combating or anything like that. But at least I'm happy that that hasn't happened because I've heard how bad it can get when snakes start combating each other over mating privileges and stuff like that. I don't want to end up having to deal with that. That's some crazy stuff. Even if you've never even seen it in captivity, if you see it in the wild, it's like Skeletor versus He-Man. But definitely want to get her checked just to have her gender confirmed because that's not something I've always done with most of my snakes. If I got them from reputable breeders or pet shops that deal with them or even made them, I would hope that they'd at least be honest about, hey, this is the gender of your snake that you're buying, especially if it's marked right there on the tub that they're in. But yeah, that's what I've got going so far. Just trying to make the best of a good thing, even if it's one of those time-consuming things. And as long as I stay busy and stay positive, I'll just continue on with the grind, and then maybe things will turn their way back into good favor. But all right, I'm gonna check out here. Uh, I'll probably post a funny skit later on. I don't know, but thanks everybody for showing up. This is Robert from Meis Morphs signing off.